Over the past few years, top chefs have opened up dozens of popular restaurants in Richmond, but owners and customers alike have found one thing hard to swallow: the city's meals tax, one of the highest in the country.
But there is one place to get a bite where Richmond diners are not charged that extra fee. Odds are you've never eaten there, but your lawmakers have. Joe St. George explains in this special report.
Richmond has quite the food scene. From the dicing to the frying to the baking, there's plenty to choose from. But there's one fact of RVA eating that has few restaurant owners, and for that matter, customers, laughing.
The meal tax?
At 6%, if you take the country's 50 largest cities, you won't find a meals tax higher than Richmond's, according to the think tank, the Tax Foundation.
You're actually encouraging city residents to go out of the city.
But that's not what has Jay Crocker furious. As the owner of 3 restaurants, including F.W. Sullivan's and The Fan, it's the fact there are dining spots in Richmond that are not charging meals taxes, making his food seem expensive by comparison.
It is frustrating.
And you may be surprised who is getting some of the cheapest sandwiches in the city. It's the men and women who work here inside the state capitol. Next to the statue of Thomas Jefferson and under a quote about justice, you'll find Merriweather's, a cafe that is frequented by politicians, state workers, and tourists. Of the $153,000+ in meals they sold last year, not one receipt charged a meals tax.
Why I love Merriweather's, because it's here. Well,
do you like the no meals taxes?
The no meals taxes? Oh, yeah, I do.
So why are diners at Merriweather's getting a break? Well, it turns out Capitol Square is considered a meals tax-free zone. In 1969, the Attorney General ruled the land inside these gates are not part of the city of Richmond, and therefore not subject to its rules.
The meals tax issue is huge because there's so much revenue being left on the table.
Kim Gray is on Richmond School Board, a group constantly fighting for more money to fix schools. For her, it's ironic the Capitol Cafe doesn't pay. After all, she says the mandates passed here leave the city in debt.
Perhaps our state lawmakers could come up with a formula to compensate us for that.
But it turns out other state venues get away with it too. VCU doesn't have to charge meals taxes to students on meal plans. State buildings don't have to pay property taxes. Gray estimates that's around $36 million lost every year. Money she says could be used to fix schools that look like this or give veteran police officers a decent raise.
It insults us, really.
Back at Sullivan's, Crocker says the state not paying its fair share means places like his have to pick up the slack, hurting the movement to convince the city to repeal or even lower the tax. And of course, keeping lunch and dinner prices high for customers, a reason why Jake says everyone should care.
If we're going to have to pay this tax, why shouldn't they have to?
And we should note that we did reach out to state officials and politicians on the subject to discuss why they don't charge the tax at the state capitol. They declined our request. In the newsroom, I'm Joe St. George, CBS 6 News.
Now from CBS.